osteomyelitis. First of all, you know what is osteomyelitis? Osteo means bone and myelitis means inflammation. So, how it is defined? Osteomyelitis is defined as an inflammation of the bone caused by an infecting organism. How it will be classified? It can be classified into broadly two groups: acute and chronic, depending upon the duration of the symptom. If the symptoms starts early, then it is called acute. If it is longer duration, it persists for longer duration, that is called chronic. Second one is mechanism of infection. Mechanism of infection. If it is exogenous, like trauma, some trauma inflicting on your body, road traffic accident, open injuries, something else. So it is exogenous infection, or second is hematogenous. Infection goes into the blood, and from blood it goes to the bone and causes infection, or then causes osteomyelitis. So on the basis of duration of symptoms, it is of normally we are talking about acute and chronic osteomyelitis. So first of all, we will cover about the acute osteomyelitis, how it happens, and what is the treatment, what is the mode of infection. So we will discuss later on. Yes. Acute hematogenous osteomyelitis. The infection goes into the blood, and from blood it goes into the bone. Especially it goes into the metaphyseal areas of the bone, because at the end of the metaphyseal area there is a slow down in the blood flow rate at the level of the metaphyses. It's like a hairpin, like blood circulation is there at the ends of the bone, that metaphyses. So it will lose when the blood flow is slowed down, so infection get outside the bone at the level of the metaphyses, and so at the area of metaphyses, bacterial seeding was done. After bacterial seeding, it start inflammation. After bacterial seeding, it start inflammation. That inflammation leads to local ischemia. Local ischemia leads to abscess formation. This is a normal pathway. When the blood pressure is increased, intravenous pressure is increased, ischemia is increased, it leads to cortical ischemia. The cortical bone gets ischemia of the cortical bone. Ischemia means slow down, become very less blood is passing through that area. Ischemia, you all know. So cortical ischemia will happen, and after that ischemia, the purulent material escape from this cortical ischemia, which goes into the purulent material, escape through the cortical cortex into the subperiosteal space. The local ischemia formation, intramedullary pressure increase, then lead to cortical ischemia, and when cortical ischemia will happen, the purulent material escape into the blood, escape into the subperiosteal space. So what is subperiosteal space? This cortical bone is there, and there is a periosteum. So in children, this periosteum is loosely attached to the bone. So the purulent material from the metaphyseal areas, and where the bone is simple, here to like circulation is there, from here it goes into the subperiosteal space after cortical break. After cortical break, it goes into the subperiosteal space from the subperiosteal abscess. If our treatment is not aborted, this infection is not aborted in this stage, then what will further happen? This periosteal abscess become loosely goes to the subperiosteally, long extensive areas to the bone, because periosteum is loosely attached. So first we flow down to this area, to this area, to this area. So extensive, and extensively it goes into the long nexus of the bone. So it is called extensive sequestrum formation. And if not treated, finally it will lead to the chronic osteomyelitis. This is the pathway which happens in the acute osteomyelitis. It is very common in the children, and this is the most common type of osteomyelitis. What about acute and chronic? Which one is most common? This acute hemolytic osteomyelitis is very common, and it is usually seen in the children. अलर्ट मीन्स तो ब्लड कैसे भी करना है, लाल भी करना है. Acute mucus influenza, as seen by as a result, when the studies was done by the Black et al. Group has done a study. There is 70% decrease in the acute mucus osteomyelitis between the 1972 to 1997. And because why this get decreased from 770, it is more than 100. It is 97, it is greater than 30%, only 30%, 70% decrease. Why so? Due to high standard of living and improved hygiene. High standard of living and improved hygiene is the cause, and then the decrease in the incidence of acute mucous osteomyelitis. Usually it is improved biophysics. It is bimodal in nature, biophysics. Usually it occurs in the children below 2 years, or second peak is between the 8 to 12. It's not even 5 years or 6 year children will not get the osteomyelitis. It is great. You will get the osteomyelitis in this age also, but there is two peak, less than 2 years, or another peak is at 12 years. One thing is very important to know here, this is physis. Physis is very important, growth cartilage. Physis is growth cartilage. This area is physis. Physis is also called growth cartilage. This is very important because this growth cartilage resists the infection from the metaphyseal area to goes into the epiphysis or joint area, because this is very resistant to infection. This is very resistant to infection. So usually infection settle into the metaphyseal area only, and it is from here it will break down and come to the subperiosteal space, not goes to this area. But children below 1 year of age, especially, or 2 years of age, below 1 year of age, normally this infection goes into the joint area also. This area goes into the joint area also. Why get infected in joint area? Because some blood vessels below 2 years age or 1 year age, some blood vessels is intercommunicating to each other from metaphyseal to epiphyseal area. Which blood flow from the metaphyseal area which goes into the epiphyseal area also. So once below if you find the children below the age of 2 years, you must be cautious. It is not a simple thing. It is not only the chronic acute osteomyelitis, but it may involve the joints also and cause the septic arthritis. This is very important. Especially it is found in the children if the children of femur of the upper part of the femur get involved in this area, and from there it goes to the head. So it will lead to the necrosis of the septic arthritis of the hip joint and necrosis of the head of the femur. that is called Tom's arthritis. Tom's arthritis. Tom's arthritis. It's very grave sequelae of this disease. So if this person, if a child get infected with the acute osteomyelitis, be careful, be judicious. Start treatment as early as possible to abort this septic arthritis. This is very important. So this crisis is very important. After the age of 2 to 4 years, 2 years, it becomes very hard, or a separation between these two is disconnected. So after 2 years, it usually remains in the metaphageal area. Causes, the most common cause of acute heterogeneous osteomyelitis, the most common cause of acute heterogeneous osteomyelitis is Staphylococcus aureus. Staphylococcus aureus. Gram-negative infection you find in vertebral bodies, the spinous process. It is the infection in the spinal process is usually gram-negative. If you find a pseudomonas, it is found in the pseudomonas in the intravenous drug user. We found in the intravenous drug user. The patient who is taking the intravenous drug, Mixed-cell or by other cell, so in intravenous drug users, you will get pseudomonas. Fungal infection you will find in chronically ill patients, immunocompromised patient, patient on the parenteral nutrition. Patient on the parenteral nutrition you will find fungal infection, fungal osteomyelitis, and salmonella. You can different types of hemoglobinopathies, different types of hemoglobinopathies. You find salmonella osteomyelitis and Haemophilus influenza between 6 months or 1 year or 2 years age. This is common Haemophilus influenza, but because of vaccination against the Haemophilus influenza, it also get reduced. Osteomyelitis. How to diagnose? Very important. Diagnosis of acute heterogeneous osteomyelitis rests on these parameters. The first and foremost is history and physical examination. Patient will suffer with fever, malaise, pain and local tenderness, swelling. Sometimes you may find compartment syndrome also. These are the basic clinical features you will find in case of this. So fever is very important, and pain and local tenderness. Fever, swelling, pain and local tenderness is very important physical finding in case of these children. So start as early as high index of suspicion is very important in the patient with this history of fever and tenderness around the metaphageal areas of the bone is very important. So you must suspect it is case of acute osteomyelitis or treat it as early as possible. Because later consequences is very difficult, and that will lead to chronic osteomyelitis, as I said before. And second most important thing is laboratory test. It is not much helpful. It is not very much helpful. If you do the WBC count, it is normal. Is ESR or C-reactive protein is usually elevated. Normally it is inhibited. It is CRP is very useful in treatment during the course of treatment, prognosis of treatment, for the prognosis. If you start the treatment, do the prognosis CRP after 2 or 3 days and see the result. If CRP is decreasing, it means your treatment is the right path. Your infection is getting normal. So this is very important. And now this is pain radiograph. Pain radiograph is normally in case of acute osteomyelitis, it is negative. Negative, it is you might find some soft tissue swelling is there, but normally you cannot elucidate. It is case of osteomyelitis is not very useful because periosteal reaction, because the find of periosteal reaction or bone destruction seen on the X-ray only after 10 to 12 days. So in acute conditions, one patient come to 1 day, 2 or 3 days, it is not very much helpful to us to diagnose in the diagnosis. And fourth is technetium. Technetium 99 scan 90 to 95% sensitive. It's 90 to 95% sensitive within 24 to 48 hours. Within 24 to 48 hours, technique scanning is very, very useful if it is done. MRI only shows the early inflammatory changes and so the bony or soft tissue landmarks only. This is not much helpful. Blood culture is also very useful, but only in 50% of cases. Only in 50% of cases you will find blood culture, position blood culture is positive. And bone aspiration. If you do with an admiral, split the material and send it to the for cultural sensitivity is very, very useful, or it is very diagnostic, very diagnostic things. If you do the bone aspiration, especially in hip or spine, so blindly you cannot go to the bone. So in that case, CT scan or ultrasonography is very, very useful. CT guided aspiration or ultrasound guided aspiration, bone aspiration is very, very useful tools in the hand of orthopedic surgeon. Now come to the, if you have diagnosed it properly, it is case of acute heterogeneous osteomyelitis. Now it comes to the treatment. How to treat this in these cases? If infection is simple inflammation without abscess formation, antibiotic is a good help. Antibiotic will control the acute heterogeneous osteomyelitis, contain the further changes in the bone, developing into the chronic osteomyelitis. So early start of the antibiotics is very, very mandatory to control the acute osteomyelitis within the normal range. So which type of antibiotic? So it is a highest bactericidal activity. You do the blood culture or Staphylococcus aureus within the Staphylococcus aureus, so IV antibiotics will start as early as possible. Empirical antibiotic, suppose in case of children is suffering with common problem with Staphylococcus aureus, so start that drug which is more highest bactericidal activity, lowest toxicity. The antibiotic has the lowest toxicity, you must think of it, and lowest cost. These three things you have to keep in mind. It must be highest bactericidal activity, lowest toxicity, and lowest price. These three you should keep in mind prescribing the antibiotic. In 1983, Mr. Ned Starr has devised a treatment protocol for these patients. An appropriate antibiotic therapy before pus formation. Before pus formation, antibiotic therapy is sufficient to control the disease. But if abscess is formed, antibiotic do not sterilize the avascular tissues, ischemic tissues, avascular tissues. The antibiotic cannot sterilize the avascular tissues or abscess. Avascular tissues or abscess, such area will require surgical removal. If there is some avascular tissue is there or there is abscess is there, you must drain it out. Surgically remove it. This is the established treatment. And third, if removal is effective, and we have to remove the pus, remove the vascular tissues, then antibiotic will prevent the further recurrence. So still continue antibiotic, or you can close the wound primarily. Or antibiotic should continue for weeks. So 1 week or 2 weeks you give IV antibiotic, and rest you should go for the oral antibiotic for weeks. So this is the treatment protocol in case of acute osteomyelitis. Now I am concluding about the acute osteomyelitis. In acute osteomyelitis, you have taken what are the causes, what are the how can you diagnosis, and what is treatment. So next class we will talk about the chronic osteomyelitis. Okay, bye.